Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. A British newspaper called The Guardian seems to be scrambling for relevance. And in the bid to keep its 1821 era newspaper relevant in 2024, they seem to have banked on the accounts of the ISI. Single source journalism, ladies and gentlemen. This Western media propaganda laden today with the woke brigade. These has-beens who have gone unchallenged intellectually for decades need to be countered. This typical narrative building ahead of every general election in India is getting too predictable. But this time, The Guardian has used an ISI script, ISI source, to say that the Indian government has ordered the killing of terrorists in Pakistan. How sympathetic they are to terrorists. They always have been. They've quoted Pakistani investigators without question or an ounce of journalistic corroboration, objectivity or proof. They call themselves journalists to be regurgitating the propaganda of the ISI, the same ISI whose hand was in 26/11 killing 166 people in Mumbai. This is like The Guardian saying the Al-Qaeda has told us something. The same ISI who is linked by Mossad to have a hand in the killing of Jews and Israelis. The same ISI which is responsible for being the bridge and forging the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Taliban alliance. If terror operators, their middlemen, their advisors and supervisors are now seen by papers like The Guardian as credible sources, then I think it's about time, really, that they are solidly countered. And I have said this before and I will say it again. The hegemony of this Western media will be countered by the voice and power of a billion. And the propaganda of those like The Guardian, more than anything else, in my view, is the biggest glaring message that the time has come to do it. And ladies and gentlemen, my promise is that Republic will do it at a very large scale very, very soon. For tonight, we counter Pakistan's narrative that they propagated through the woke brigade of the West. It's time we smash that narrative and set the record straight. So let's debate.
The Western media propaganda on India is back in focus once again. And this time it's The Guardian. Its alleged report claiming that Indian government ordered killings on Pakistani soil. The basis, they claim to have interviews with Pakistani investigators and documents they claim shared by the Pakistanis. A hit job at best. India has responded to the report as it should have, calling out the false and malicious propaganda. But this is not the first time an anti-India narrative is being peddled. From Trudeau's big Nijjar killing allegation that triggered a massive India-Canada diplomatic row, but was not met with any substance.
It's extremely important that as a country with a strong and independent justice system, we allow those justice processes to unfold themselves with the utmost integrity. But I can assure you, the decision to share these allegations on the floor of the House of Commons Monday morning was not done lightly. It was done with, or Monday afternoon, was done with the utmost seriousness.
To the plot to kill Pannu claim, a charge that still awaits proof.
Matt, I don't really have anything new to sort of offer on this that both Matt and the Secretary haven't spoke to already, I would say, in the number of times that has come up before the press in the past week or so. I would just reiterate again, we are and continue to be deeply concerned about the allegations referenced by Prime Minister Trudeau, and we remain in regular contact with our Canadian partners, and it's critical that Canada's investigation proceed and the perpetrators be brought to justice. We also have, as we've previously said, publicly and privately urged the Indian government to cooperate in the Canadian investigation and cooperate in those efforts.
India has made its stand clear.
One, we told the Canadians that this is not the government of India's policy. Two, we told the Canadians saying that, look, if you have something specific, if you have something relevant, let us know. We are open to looking at it. Do understand that there is an environment out there. So that is important in a way to factor in.
Then why is the British media banking on Pakistan ISI's tail on India? Let's debate.
in a sense here, The Guardian is complaining about the killing of terrorists. Guardian is loudly complaining in its obvious editorial stance that India is doing a very bad thing by killing terrorists. Okay. So what we find out, therefore, Sushant, is that tremendous sympathy that The Guardian has for terrorists, who in their view should be encouraged to live long lives, happy lives, lives of fulfillment. The second point is that they are saying that all of this has been told to them by Pakistani government sources. They failed to establish, General Bakshi, that the Pakistani government officials are the ones who are building and financing the terrorists. They don't add that as a rider. They try to create a line of separation between the Pakistani government, the Pakistani intelligence agency, the Pakistani army, and the terrorist groups, which everybody knows does not exist. Okay, let's begin. I have with me tonight Faraz Saeed, political analyst from Pakistan, and Hamid Khan, who's also joining us, analyst and journalist from Islamabad. What is this story? I mean, I'm very confused, Faraz. What is the point that is being made here? That India killed Pakistani terrorists. How bad? I mean, is that the point? You should be happy because you keep coming on my program and saying there is so much terrorism in Pakistan. So if you are killing a few of your terrorists, you should say thank you to us if we are. You should be thanking us for killing terrorists. You're complaining about it. You decide what your line is. Yes, Hamid?
Yes, Arnab, it means that it is an admission that Indian RAW is killing the people in different countries, whether it is Canada, England, or anywhere else. And the Guardian report is very clear that Indian agency, RAW and other agencies are extremely violating the international laws, and they are killing the people, as a state policy. And India is involved in the straight terrorism already, and Kulbhushan Yadav, and then the killing of, in Canada is all the big evidences. I mean, it is the time for you, Arnab Goswami, General Bakshi, and everybody to ask from your government that why they are doing so fascist open terrorism now. This is the question from Indian government to ask, not from me, not from anybody else. And this is not a report. This is not a report from me. This is a report by Guardian, one of a very reliable newspaper, one of a very reliable, which you have mentioned in many programs. When Guardian says anything in your favor, you do 10 million programs on it. But when Guardian exposes Indian terrorism, when Guardian exposes that India is using, killing of on the other soils as their tool, then you criticize Guardian. That is not the right way. Listen to me.
Listen to me. First of all,
you want to,
Hamid,
then you go to kill
I will not give free.
Why don't you go to and talk about what's happening in Palestine and the way, Israeli...
Will you stop? I mean, I'm responding to you, man. You're being very rude tonight, Hamid. What's wrong with you?
No,
Then I'll have to treat you like I treat other Pakistanis always. But I'm trying to be polite.
I'm explaining you.
Listen to me, Pramit. First of all, you are on a big network. 430 million people watch the Republic Media Network compared to a small, tiny media group like Guardian. So we are too big to be depending on the Guardian. First point. We are a big media
Guardian
group,
has more
Republic
credibility
Media
than
Network,
you.
okay? Don't compare us to small outfits like Guardian. Chalo, hai na, aapka hai. Chalo, anyway. Okay, now my second point is, that General Bakshi, they should be happy that these people have died. I don't want anyone to die. I mean, I'm against the idea of killing anyone. But Shahid Latif was the key aide of the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar and the mastermind of the 2016 attack on the Pathankot air base. What do you want to do? Give him Nishan-e-Pakistan? These people have died.
No. Do you?
You should be thanking us, General Bakshi. I mean, I don't understand. Who are these people? No. Who are what? General Bakshi, please. General Bakshi. Thank you, sir.
You know, Arnab, every single terrorist is less of a boj on this poor earth. The Pakistanis have had it up to their gills. They started creating these terrorist organizations. Hillary Clinton years back advised them that if you keep snakes in your backyard, feed them milk every day in the fond hope that they'll only kill and bite your neighbors, then one fine day you'll pay a heavy cost. They are paying it today. And, if their terrorists are being killed, I thought they should celebrate because they are not able to handle them. But the fact of the matter is, Arnab, the way we kill terrorists is like what we did post Uri with the Special Forces strike, in which we killed 40 of them in their own launch pads. The way we hit Balakot with our Mirages, and we killed 200. That is what our defense minister and our prime minister meant when they said, "Ghar mein ghus ke marenge." Now there is the Mossad, there is the KGB, there is the FSB, who have been killing terrorists in all other countries, without crease on their brows. But the fact of the matter is, whether India is doing it or not, show us the proof. This young lady from The Guardian, she was their art and culture correspondent, Arnab. She was their art and culture correspondent, and she has suddenly graduated to terrorism. She's gone to Pakistan, been wined and dined by the ISI, and given a tutorial on what is happening. I'm saying, give us the proof. Show us the proof. Yes. Whether Canada or here or wherever, show us the proof.
The point is,
General Bakshi, on the one hand, you are admitting that you killed it by the name of terrorism. On the other hand, you are asking for the proof. Please make up your mind whether you killed it or not. Then we will talk about the proof.
Yeah, I made up my mind. You haven't even heard what I said.
No, I heard you, General Sahab.
This is what happens when you don't hear what the other side has done.
No, General Sahab, I heard you very well.
That the way we killed terrorists, तो फिर से सुन लीजिए, maybe you got me wrong. I am saying the way we killed terrorists across the border is what we did post Uri. We sent in our special forces in your territory, 3 to 4 kilometers deep, hit your launch pads, killed 40 terrorists there. When that was not enough of a message.
I remember.
Let me finish. You are not the only person on this debate.
I have a solution to this.
And I am telling you.
Wow.
Ji, General Sahab.
Arnab, what I was saying was that the way we kill is the way we killed 200 odd Pakistani terrorists in Balakot. That is the way we do it. Just in case you weren't very clear as yet.
Yeah, the point is, Sushant,
that you are making.
Sushant, let me tell you, Hamid, thank you. Let me get in. Faraz and Barrister Amrit Ahmed Sheikh also. See, no, I won't give you. There are three other panelists. ऐसा नहीं करते हामिद जी. हामिद जी ऐसा नहीं करते. मैं कुछ बोल रहा हूँ. 3 panelists ने अभी तक कुछ कहा नहीं है. क्या आप बात कर रहे हैं? मैं आपको नहीं दूंगा टाइम. नहीं, I must come in typically. No. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. The point is, first of all, Faraz and Barrister Amrit, Sushant will tell you the same thing. If you feel that we are killing Pakistani terrorists and we are very bad people, we are killing Pakistani terrorists, then the right thing to do is to send a letter to the Indian embassy, put in a complaint, put it through the right diplomatic channels. We will put it through the right diplomatic channels, put the appropriate investigators, take adequate time, do an investigation and give you an appropriate reply. What is this calling someone from Guardian and saying Indians net Pakistani terrorists ko mara? It makes no impact to us, Faraz. It makes no impact. I think you're doing it the wrong way. Yes, Faraz.
The case in point here is that the Guardian's report has substantiated the very claim of the Pakistani government, the current government and the previous government, that India is sponsoring terror on foreign grounds, be it US, be it Canada, and the claims that the US and Canada were making was substantiated through the reports. Now, moving on, on one end you claim that, we've killed terrorists in Pakistan and there has to be the right kind of recourse contact or communicate with the Delhi government.
Yes.
The point here is, first you admit that you have been sponsoring state-led terrorism on the foreign soil. Only then the governments will talk to the Indian government. Only then the US government and the Canadian government will deal with the New Delhi. Because first you have to admit, and that you are admitting on the national channel where apparently 430 million people watch your network.
Okay, 1 minute. Faraz, people are watching this program. It is one of the highest, it is the highest watched program in the country. I'm aware of it. It matters. My simple answer is Sushant is a very influential commentator as a General Bakshi. All I will say is, what if we don't admit? I'm sorry to sound brazen about it. What will you do? What can you do? Second point is, we are a very busy country. You see, we are busy going to the moon, hosting the G20. We are going to have the third largest economy in the world, right? We are busy working on technology. We don't have time to. We don't have. Why should we try to kill your?
Misleading your own nation.
You kill your own terrorists. Sushant will appropriately.
Arnab, that's called diversification. You spend on economy and then you also spend on terror.
No, Sushant. No, we don't want to. We don't.
And I acknowledge that he has been doing his job on that.
No. Sushant is getting. Sushant has that. Sushant is responding. Sushant, what do you think should be done now?
Arnab, I'm a little bemused. I'm a little bemused by the fact that Pakistan needs substantiation and authentication from Guardian for certain dossiers which they have prepared. Can you understand the magnitude of what Faraz is saying? That they have produced certain dossiers, and he says the Guardian has substantiated it. I don't see how a newspaper can substantiate something which a government has produced, number one. Number two, if they have actually got prosecutable evidence, then why isn't it in the public domain? What is the prosecutable evidence they have got? Have they got any videos? Since they claim to have safe city projects all over the place, they seem to have cameras and CCTV and everything all over the place. Surely they would have captured something. We haven't seen anything in the public domain, at least. There are forced confessions from people. How many of them have been actually prosecuted and brought before the courts? And are those court proceedings open? Absolutely not. The other gentleman who says that the Canadians have produced proof. Can you please show us what is the evidence that the Canadians have provided? Not a shred of evidence has been provided by the Canadians so far. Not even a shred of evidence. All they have leveled is credible allegations. Whatever credible allegations means. I don't know. It can either be credible or it can be allegation. It can't be credible allegation. It's an oxymoron of sorts. So I can't understand where that is coming from. The next point is the question. Please, you've had your say. Let other people speak. The next question which I have for the Pakistani gentleman is, okay, fine. Let us for a moment assume that India has been going inside Pakistan and bumping these guys off. Who were these guys? Were they pillars of Pakistani society? Is Jaish-e-Mohammed a pillar of your society? Is Lashkar-e-Taiba a pillar of your society? These are is a hijacker of the IC 814 flight a pillar of your society? So what were these guys doing in Pakistan? What was a hijacker of an Indian Airlines plane doing in Karachi? Please let us know. Why was ideally a hijacker of a plane should have been prosecuted inside Pakistan and put in prison and the key thrown away? What was he doing normal business in Pakistan? Have you studied your own track record of terrorism? You are pointing fingers at other people.
Well said.
Have you seen your own track record? How much you have been involved in terrorism the world over? So okay, and let us for a moment assume that the Guardian has published something. Number one, it has only regurgitated old information which has already been there in the public domain. A number of people have already published this information, so there's no new earth-shattering, path-breaking investigation which these guys have done. None whatsoever. Nothing. Absolutely zilch. So what is the new thing which everybody is getting their knickers in a twist about? Nothing. And for a moment, let us assume that whatever they are saying is true. Do they realize that they might have done it for ideological and political purposes, but do they realize that this is actually going to boomerang on them? Because if they are trying to target the current government in India by saying that, look, this is a government which goes and carries out these kind of operations around the world, frankly speaking, they're just adding a couple of 100 million more votes to the vote bank of this government rather than actually undermining this government. They're only adding to the reputation of this government as one which is not going to, turn the other cheek, which many of the previous governments were doing, that this government is not going to do this. It's going to give a blow for a blow. So, frankly speaking, if I was in the BJP, for example, I would have certainly sent a thank you card to Guardian and said, can you please publish some more reports like this, because it does a hell of a lot for my brand equity than anything else will do.
Can I say something now?
We do not get that kind of time to explain our part of the story. So kudos to Sushant and kudos to you to give him unequivocal airtime to explain his case.
Yeah. Can I say something now, Arnab? If you give me 2 minutes as well.
I tell you, Faraz, save the sarcasm. I'm responding to Faraz. See, Faraz, I'll tell you one thing. When you are headlining a big story and coming to a big conclusion, you cannot write a fairy tale. It is incumbent upon the journalist to at least name one specific source. Under the cover of journalistic anonymity, you cannot say, I have sources, but I will not name them. I could be speaking to you, Faraz, and calling you a Pakistani intelligence official. In this specific report, this 3-byline report, not one individual official has been named, except towards the very end as background information, a person who is part of some think tank is referred to, but as far as any of the headline grabbing parts of the story, not one official has been named. This is scurrilous in terms of journalism. But so I'm not trying to take away time from you. You understand?
No. But there has
I'd like Faraz to reply because he made that observation. I'm hitting him back here.
Yeah, Arnab, you're absolutely right. There has to be substantiated sources to confirm, and there has to be trichotomy of sources to confirm one single report. But the point is there are editorial checks, and it's not upon one reporter to file a report, and it's published.
How do you know? No. 1 minute. No. Suppose I put out a report today that Pakistani intelligence officials have told me that Parvez Musharraf paid 10 crore rupees to kill Benazir Bhutto.
But Arnab,
suppose I put out that report. Many people suspect Musharraf's hand. No, 1 minute. Hey, 1 minute. Suppose I say that reliable Pakistani intelligence officials have told me that Musharraf killed Benazir Bhutto and paid 10 crore rupees. But I don't name a single person. Will you accept my report?
Will your editor approve
Will you accept
it? Will your editor approve that report? If it's not substantiated.
First of all, it won't be carried on Republic. But I'm saying if anybody puts out a story like that, you'll say without naming the person, you're running a fake piece. It's fake news.
I mean, I have seen you.
Don't take a convenient argument for us.
You have been quoting the same Guardian again and again to prove your point in the past. Why are you not?
Never in my life. I'll tell you. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Quoting the Guardian is like quoting the Sun as a source of journalism. What are you talking about? Now my question, I have never done that.
You don't agree with the Canadian
I have never done that.
You don't agree with the.
I have never done that.
The American prosecutors. You don't agree with the Qataris who have held your 3 Navy officers, and now they've of course been withdrawn. You don't agree with the Pakistani government.
Nobody's held. They've all been freed. One phone call from Delhi freed. Nobody's held.
They were
India's a powerful country. We told the Qataris they released them.
That was diplomacy at its peak. But they were on a death row
but one phone call is enough. No, we are a big country. But we are a big country. No?
Yeah, so
Qatar knows we are a big country. They won't mess with us.
So you can do all the badmashi you want. So you can do all the, terrorism.
Badmashi, we are not doing. General Bakshi, please.
No,
please don't reduce.
Your whole
We don't do
conversation
Badmashi.
is based on all the admissions that India has adopted foreign countries, terrorism as a state policy. That is what admission from Sushant. That is what you are admitting.
No, sir,
on top of it, by denying the fact of report by the
Arnab.
On the other hand, doing a complete program, it means that it has some substantial credibility. That's why you are doing this program, that you know that people will give a weightage to the report of the Guardian. That's why you are doing this program against Guardian, because you know that people will understand the credibility of Guardian more than Republic's.
Okay, let me ask one minute. General Bakshi and Sushant, one question to Barrister Amrit, because not spoken, then I'll come back to you. Absolutely wrong. I am curious. I am a curious kind of person. So I am by nature a curious person. I like to ask these curious questions. And my curious question is to Barrister Amrit Ahmad Sheikh. Barrister Amrit Ahmad Sheikh, these people, who are they that you are weeping buckets for them? Hanzla Andnan, mastermind of the attack on the BSF convoy in Jammu and Kashmir in 2015, he is dead. Riaz Ahmad, affiliated to LET, one of the main conspirators behind the Dhangri terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir, he is dead. Bashir Ahmad Peer, alias Imtiaz Alam, Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist, dead. Now, if all the people who are trying to do terrorism in India are dead, maybe it's their bad karma. It's not like we're killing them. They try to do bad things to India and they're all dead. They try to do terrorism in India, they're all dead. And so seeing the fact that they are dead, nobody in Pakistan will want to be dead and therefore will not carry out acts of terrorism against India or feel they are going to be safe in Pakistan. You can come back to Pakistan, but you'll still be dead. Now, that doesn't mean we're killing them. There's no link there, Barrister.
Sir, thank you so much for having me on your show. And I think that this is one of the foremost and crucial topics that we need to address at hand. Firstly, I would like to say one thing, that you just quoted this thing that if you have an issue with these deaths and if you have issues with the way these activities has been carried out, then you're supposed to write a letter to the Delhi embassy and then you're supposed to make this report system and then go according to the law, as you recently said this thing. So I'll just say the similar thing in this situation as well, that okay, hum bhi maan lete hain, that we also agree with this thing, that these activities were carried out, these things had been done. So shouldn't the same action had been taken by your side as well to our respective government, and not rather than just intruding in our personal sovereignty of the state and taken action by all by yourself? Because what I understand by this thing is that कि हर मुल्क की अपनी autonomy है, sir. और अगर आप उस autonomy को bifurcate करके अपने तरीके से उस चीज को hand in hand करेंगे, so that is not fair. तो अगर आप by law की बात करते हैं और governments को involve करने की बात करते हैं, then the government should have been involved. And then it should have been taken out in that proper procedure, not according to somebody else's way. Despite the fact, I totally agree with you, okay, they are terrorists. They are not the right people. Yes, they are not the pillar of support. Yes, they are not the right people. I totally agree with that. But does that give you the privilege, or does that give you the right to still intervene to an autonomous state and carry out those activities, as per you said, not done according to the law that has been set out by all these sovereign states? I don't think so, sir. That is not justifiable at any cost and at any point.
Arnab,
अच्छा, तो आपका पहले तो हमने कुछ किया नहीं है. Sushant, yes, Sushant.
Can I just respond to the barrister? So, I think the barrister raises certain correct points, but I think what she's not aware of is the fact that India has actually approached the government of Pakistan at least dozens of times and given them information, given them dossiers, given them all kinds of things to act against terrorists who have operated inside India and run away back to Pakistan. And not a damn thing has been done by the Pakistani government. I hope the barrister is aware of that entire history which has gone in the past. So it's not as though India has not been following the legal channels and approaching the government of Pakistan, whether it was 26/11, whether it was the Pathankot attacks, terrorist attacks, when we even allowed a Pakistani team to come to an Indian Air Force base to collect evidence and to see the scene of crime, because we realized that that is part of the judicial process. So we've done it. What have you done? Please tell us.
अमृत जी, आपका कहना ये है, now on General Bakshi to come in, आपका कहना ये है कि ये लोग, बुरे लोग, ये टेररिस्ट लोग हमारे अपने लोग हैं, हम खुद उनको मारेंगे, आप बस हमें फ़ोन करके उनका व्हाट्सएप लोकेशन बता दीजिए, हम उनको मार देंगे, आप चिंता मत कीजिए। अगर इतना आसान था तो फिर यूएसए को घुस के ओसामा को मारना क्यों पड़ा? नहीं, आपकी ये ओसामा भी तो आपका ही अपना आदमी था ना, आपने मारा क्या? आपने तो डिनाई की that he is living in Abbottabad, right next to your military headquarters. उनको घुसना पड़ा ना, मारना पड़ा ना।
Please. मैं सिर्फ ये बात कह रही हूँ कि that if we are arguing on this point, कि we are supposed to stop these terrorist activities and we are supposed to make sure कि ये चीज़ें ख़त्म हों, चाहे वो इंडिया में हो रही हैं, चाहे वो पाकिस्तान में हो रही हैं, तो फिर हमें एक rule of law को follow up करना चाहिए. So we have the example of Pulwama attack as well over here. What I believe over here is that in these particular kind of situations, all we need to do is that we are. No. Please go ahead.
May I kindly tell the young lady that the United Nations Resolution 1967 clearly enjoins upon all countries to act against terrorism and terrorists in any form if they are operating on their soil. You ripped the Americans of billions of dollars, and then you kept Osama bin Laden as an honored guest in a 3-story building 900 meters from the Pakistan Military Academy, Kakul. You kept telling the Americans that he was getting dialysis done in some cave in Tora Bora. He turned out to be on your soil next to your most famous military establishment. And then the Americans had to go in themselves, send their choppers and kill that man, carry out his dead body. Don't you think that casts a major aspersion on the state of Pakistan?
I will leave it at that. I will leave it at that.
That was an intelligence failure. I mean, we also caught Kulbhushan Yadav quite late. So that was an intelligence failure.
Faraz, don't defend the indefensible. And Barrister Amrit, you made
that's the case. I mean, if Al-Qaeda can launch its attack on Pentagon and World Trade Center, and that was intelligence failure, why could not Osama bin Laden episode could be considered as intelligence failure? Why don't you agree with that?
Faraz, we are all intelligent
why did you give him a house
900
and a
meters
mansion
from the Pakistan military academy,
and Pentagon, Pentagon.
Precisely.
Arnab, can I please allow me a minute? Allow me half a minute.
Allow ISA to sleep once.
Arnab, allow me half a minute. Okay, so Faraz, let me tell you of another intelligence failure of the world's #1 intelligence agency. There was a man by the name of Sajid Mir. Have you heard of Sajid Mir? Sajid Mir is the mastermind, one of the masterminds of 26/11 attacks. Do you know what his story is? Everybody has been chasing Sajid Mir. So Pakistanis first said there is no Sajid Mir. Nobody by this name has ever existed in Pakistan. Then they said, yes, there is a Sajid Mir, but we can't find him. Then they said, when the pressure mounted more, they said, yes, there is a Sajid Mir, we have found him, but we know that he is dead and he is buried. So finally there was more pressure put. They even produced DNA from the grave to say that Sajid Mir is dead. This is Sajid Mir, this man everybody is hunting. When the pressure kept mounting, suddenly after Jesus Christ, Sajid Mir was resurrected and he rose from his grave, and within a day he was taken to court and he was sentenced to court. Was this an intelligence failure or was this an intelligence cover-up? Please let us know.
Absolutely. Why did the Indian government or RAW allowed 8 terrorists to go through the Mumbai port, attack
Why did the Pakistan government allow 10 terrorists to enter Army Public School in Peshawar? Why did you allow 10 terrorists to enter Army Public School in Peshawar?
You won't learn that way, will you? I mean, you won't learn. For us, let me tell you, distinguish yourself right now. Realize the state of your country isn't one where a young person like you should come out and start defending or finding some quasi-proxy reason to defend terrorism.